6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe, assisted by Chatura, and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. The Consumer Affairs Authority draft bill and regulations under the Fauna and Flora Ordinance passed in Parliament. Sri Lanka and Latvia strengthen bilateral relations. It has been emphasized that the election system should be fair, transparent, and without corruption. The dates fixed to remove the sunken Express Pearl ship. The Presidential Special Investigation Unit launches an investigation into the burnt oil racket. A restraining order issued preventing the removal of a group of UNP local government representatives. In foreign news, the UK's refusal to recognise the Indian-made version of the AstraZeneca vaccine triggers protests in India. In sports football news, Robert Lewandowski wins the European Golden Shoe. The Consumer Affairs Authority Amendment Bill and regulations under the Fauna and Flora Ordinance were passed in Parliament today. Taking part in the debate, State Minister Lasantha Alagiyavanna said that amendments were introduced to take legal action against traders who make unreasonable profits by selling goods at higher prices. The fines have been increased by tenfold. Steps have been taken to maintain fair prices through competition without controlling the rates. He said that solutions will be given for the shortage of goods such as milk powder and cement. MP Manushanane Akkara said that a higher price has to be paid for COVID vaccines since they could not be ordered on time. MP Madhura Vithanage said that medicinal drugs mafia was in operation during the time of the Good Governance government. There were no medicinal drugs formula during that time. MP Vithanage said that the policy of the present government is to provide quality medicinal drugs at fair prices. MP Anurakumara Disanayaka said that registering elephants which have not been registered is an encouragement for elephant racketeers. He said that an investigation should be conducted into malpractices at the Lanka Sathosa. MP Rohanakumara Disanayaka said that the amendments were introduced to meet justice for the people. It will not cause problems to fair traders. A meeting between President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the President of the Republic of Latvia, Egils Levits, took place yesterday. The meeting took place on the sidelines of the 76th session of the UN General Assembly. The two leaders were of the view that strong steps should be taken to further the 25-year-long diplomatic relations between the two countries. They discussed the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the economy and society and exchanged views on the measures to be taken for the betterment of the tourism industry in the two countries as the pandemic subsides. They also discussed enhancing cooperation between the two countries in the fields of education and digital technology. The two leaders deliberated on the topic of a change in the composition of the UN Security Council and the need for greater representation in the UNSC for the Asian, South African, the Middle East and South American regions. Political party leaders pointed out at the Parliament Select Committee that the election system should be fair, transparent and without corruption. All communities should be represented at local bodies. It was emphasized that the reason for many issues in the north is a lack of proper representation. The committee met yesterday under the patronage of the leader of the House, Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. Representatives of the United National Freedom Front, the Tamil Progressive Alliance and the Ilangai Tamil Arasu Katchi expressed their views. The General Secretary of the United National Freedom Front, Maitri Gunaratne, said that the voters' list should be expanded to include more details. The Parliament Select Committee was set up to identify the reforms needed for elections, the electoral structure and the regulations. The United National Freedom Front pointed out it is suitable to establish the polling division system and to introduce it to the local government, the provincial councils and the parliamentary elections. MP Mano Ganeshan, expressing his views on behalf of the Tamil Progressive Alliance, said that the proportional representation is suitable for the country. He said that a fair representation to scattered communities can be given through the proportional representation system. The Ilangai Tamil Arasu Katchi said that the Elections Commission should be further strengthened and its independence should be ensured. The chairperson of the Marine Environment Protection Authority, Darshini Lahandapura, says that plans have been made to launch activities to remove the sunken Express Pearl ship by November. Calling tenders for the removal ended yesterday. Several local and foreign companies have made applications. The Attorney General will be sent information relating to the incident and its impact before the end of this week. She said that compensation payments would be received in due course. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Presidential Special Investigation Unit has decided to conduct an extensive investigation into the local burnt oil racket. The racket takes place when purchasing burnt oil discharged from the ships that arrive in the country. The Central Environmental Authority has issued 27 permits to refine burnt oil. Out of that, only 4 organizations are capable of refining burnt oil. Only 4,800 metric tons of oil can be refined by them. However, 20,000 metric tons of burnt oil are being discharged annually by the ships that arrive in the country. It is not clear what happens to the remaining oil. When the ships discharged burnt oil, they pay the relevant countries. However, burnt oil is being purchased when they arrive in Sri Lanka. It has been found that a large amount of foreign exchange is lost by the country annually due to this racket. Sri Lanka's Foreign Minister Professor G.L. Peris and the Secretary General of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation Yusuf Al-Utaimin had reiterated the positive outcomes of integration among communities with the preservation of identity. It was during a meeting on the eve of the high-level segment of the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. The foreign minister appreciated the support the OIC had extended to Sri Lanka in the multilateral arena, including at the Human Rights Council, where they had opposed countries being singled out for political purposes and urged that countries be allowed to solve their national issues. The Secretary-General Al-Utaimin appreciated the close and long-standing relations between Sri Lanka and the OIC and its member countries. He noted that the OIC was concerned about the welfare of Muslims globally and had always urged members of the Muslim community to respect local cultures and the law of the land. He underscored that the OIC stood against extremism, violence and hatred and noted the rise in misinformation with social media and other tools, where false information around the world was causing friction among communities. The vaccination of the differently abled children above 12 years and with special needs is taking place island-wide at main hospitals. State Minister Channa Jayasumana said that children between the age of 12 and 19 years with various illnesses will be given the COVID vaccine at the Lady Ridgeway Hospital on Friday. The Pfizer vaccine is scheduled to be given on Saturday at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital for Children with thalassemia and other illnesses. Meanwhile, consultant Dr. Prasanna Gunasena said that decisions on vaccinating children are given by the Pediatric Specialists Association and the doctors who represent vaccination and the pandemic unit. A special committee of the World Health Organization makes monthly recommendations on the side effects of vaccines. He said that children and the elders are vaccinated according to those recommendations. The Colombo District Magistrate Court has issued a restraining order preventing the naming of persons by removing 19 local government representatives of the United National Party. The order has been made against UNP leader MP Ranil Wickramasinghe and a group of people. The Colombo District Judge Aruna Aluthge gave the order after considering a complaint made by the relevant members. Over 228 kilograms of Kerala cannabis abandoned in the beach area of Narivilkulam was seized by the Sri Lankan Navy during a special foot operation carried out yesterday. The value of the haul of Kerala cannabis is believed to be over 68 million rupees. The stock of cannabis had been stuffed in 103 parcels, which were contained in 6 sacks. Sri Lankan music artist Yohani De Silva is to make her first performance in India after her song Manike Mage Hite went viral globally. India's entertainment firm Zee Live has advertised 2 live shows in Hyderabad featuring Yohani on the 30th of September and the 3rd of October. She will be performing along with her 9-member band. The organizers said Yohani, the biggest music trend, is coming to India. All the way from Colombo, the Manike Mage Hite trendsetter is all set to rock at the Studio XO Gurugram and Heart Cup Cafe Gachibowli. Yohani is a singer, songwriter, rapper and multi-instrumentalist. That's local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Ministry of Health said 882 more COVID-19 patients were discharged from medical care today as they have recovered from the virus infection. This brings the total number of recoveries reported in the country to 435,022. Sri Lanka has recorded 507,330 cases of COVID-19 so far. More than 60,000 patients are currently receiving treatment at hospitals, treatment centres and at homes. Meanwhile, the death from novel coronavirus stands at 12,284.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watch Live.
The Sri Lanka Computer Emergency Readiness Team Information Security Engineer Deenadayalan Nagaratnam said incidents of cybercrime and cyber harassment have seen a rapid increase during the period of COVID-19, with reported cases rising from 4,000 to 16,000 from 2017 to 2020. He said according to CID data in 2018, around 90% of Sri Lankan university students have become victims of cyber harassment.
World News.
In world news headlines, the UK's refusal to recognise the Indian-made version of the AstraZeneca vaccine triggers protests in India. The Taliban asked to speak at UN General Assembly in New York. Former US President Trump sues niece and New York Times over tax story. The UK's refusal to recognise the Indian-made version of the AstraZeneca vaccine has triggered a firestorm of protests in India. With more than 721 million doses administered so far, Covishield is India's most widely used vaccine. In July, even the UK received 5 million doses of the jab from India. India has described the move as discriminatory and asked the UK to stop requiring fully vaccinated Indians to self-isolate for 10 days on arrival. The Taliban have asked to address world leaders at the United Nations General Assembly this week in New York. A UN committee will rule on the request, but it is unlikely to happen during the current session of the body. The Taliban also nominated their Doha-based spokesperson Suhail Shaheen as Afghanistan's UN ambassador. The group said the envoy for the ousted government no longer represented the country. Former US President Donald Trump is suing his niece and the New York Times over a 2018 article that alleged he was involved in dubious tax schemes. The lawsuit filed in New York accuses Mary Trump and newspaper reporters of being engaged in an insidious plot to obtain confidential documents. It alleges that Miss Trump, age 56, breached a settlement agreement barring her from disclosing the document. And now the main points of the World News segment once again. The UK's refusal to recognise the Indian-made version of the AstraZeneca vaccine triggers protests in India. The Taliban asks to speak at the UN General Assembly in New York. Former US President Trump sues niece and New York Times over tax story. That was world news, and now in development news, the government of Sri Lanka and the World Bank signed a $92 million financing agreement for the Climate Resilience Multi-Phase Programme Phase 1 project. This project is expected to benefit around 11.2 million people across the country by modernising the weather, flood and landslide forecasting and early warning systems. The project will support the government departments to better forecast weather-related hazards, improve early warning systems and invest in flood-resilient infrastructure. It will also lay the foundation for reducing flood risks in the Kalani River basin in the long run.
Sports news.
In football news, Robert Lewandowski has received the 2020-2021 European Golden Shoe, having scored 41 Bundesliga goals for Bayern Munich. The award is given to the top goal scorer in all domestic leagues across Europe. Lewandowski, aged 33, is only the second Germany-based player to win it after Bayern legend Gerard Müller in 1971-72. The Polish striker's tally last season was the highest since Cristiano Ronaldo claimed the award in 2015 with Real Madrid after netting 48 goals. Lewandowski comfortably outscored Messi 30 and Ronaldo 29 in his 29 Bundesliga appearances. The award has been won 6 times previously by Messi.
A safe, easy and versatile app for all your banking needs. NSB Pay for monetary transactions, bill payments, reloads, credit card payments and Lanka QR transactions. A range of facilities with multiple account registrations. Access to your bank needs wherever you are. Download the NSB Pay app from the Play Store or the App Store for free now. For more information, call your nearest NSB branch or 0112 379 379. Conditions apply.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Windforce plc has won the award for the fastest growing renewable energy company in Sri Lanka at the Global Business Outlook Awards for 2021. Held annually, the Global Business Outlook Awards evaluate companies across an array of industries and have been doing so since 2015. Windforce plc has established 27 plants across Sri Lanka, Ukraine, Pakistan and Uganda within a decade.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
A safe, easy and versatile app for all your banking needs. NSB Pay for monetary transactions, bill payments, reloads, credit card payments and Lanka QR transactions. A range of facilities with multiple account registrations. Access to your bank needs wherever you are.
Economic news. Courtesy of
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Data released by the Sri Lanka Customs shows that Sri Lanka's merchandise exports in August 2021 recorded an increase of 14.4% to $1,083.56 million as compared to $947.2 million recorded in August 2020. Export Development Board Chairman Suresh Dimel commended the exporters and said it is remarkable to see another month of exports over $1 billion despite the ongoing pandemic.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Weather report.
The Met Department says thundershowers will occur at several places in most parts of the island during the evening or night. Showers or thundershowers may occur at several places in the coastal areas extending from Puttalama to Matara via Colombo and Galle. That was the weather report, and now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The Consumer Affairs Authority draft bill and regulations under the Fauna and Flora Ordinance passed in Parliament. Sri Lanka and Latvia strengthen bilateral relations. It has been emphasized that the election system should be fair, transparent and without corruption. The dates fixed to remove the sunken Express Pearl ship. The Presidential Special Investigation Unit launches an investigation into the burnt oil racket. A restraining order issued preventing the removal of a group of UNP local government representatives. In foreign news, the UK's refusal to recognise the Indian-made version of the AstraZeneca vaccine triggers protests in India. In sports football news, Robert Lewandowski wins the European Golden Shoe. That concludes this news broadcast. You're with Radio Sri Lanka.